Democratic Alliance in the Western Cape has opened a case of crimen injuria against Mkhize. The party's Tertuis Semblance joins us now for more. Tertuis, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. There's a lot to talk about here, but I think a great place to start is why the Democratic Alliance in the Western Cape thought this was a matter for you to take up.
Well, first and foremost, good evening to you and your viewers. When the social media posts started coming online, what struck me, and I mean, 10 days just before the incident date, President and I were together in Vredendal to celebrate Reconciliation Day. And the word for me is to reconcile, where we identify and respect the differences in one another, but we all aspire to build a better South Africa. And once an individual, I mean, whose father fought for the freedom and fought for the equality of all South Africans, racially slurs and comments on a colored lady of the Western Cape, or it could have been from any other area across this country, then one needs to stand up and speak out. But she took it a step further by literally, going hard at this young lady of 24 years old, identifying a specific area which she alleges the lady is from, and she goes on and on and on. And in my case, crimen injuria was the most logical step to take, because it speaks about the unlawful violation of someone's dignity or privacy. In this case, the dignity of not only the air hostess, who was brave enough to open the case also today while we were accompanying her, but also all the others who I believe will now follow the same suit. And for me, it's all about the dignity, because if we want true reconciliation, we must accept and identify and respect the dignity of all South Africans, not just some South Africans.
Yeah, and obviously, though, I want to sort of analyze what she said that made the Democratic Alliance take this particular decision, right? Because, I mean, she's quoted, if you listen to the video, and many South Africans have and watched it from various angles, because, my goodness, there were so many, Tertuis. But there's a point where she says, you're a colored from Mitchell's Plain, all these gold rings, but no degree. Right now, when we land, I'm going to take an Uber home. You don't even have a driver's license. You don't even have a car. I mean, anyone obviously going to be hurt by those words. But describe them. I mean, do you feel that they were racist in your view?
No, if you look at the reaction and the rest of what she said, I will not verbatim say, because she actually told the air hostess to F off more than once. And if you look at the reaction of the colored ladies from Mitchell's Plain, but also the surrounding areas, how dare one generalize a community that actually does accomplish a lot? They are qualified. They qualify themselves for a better life. And the racist term here is the reference to colored in itself, because if this was any other person inciting the same type of language to is it Xhosa or is it Zulu, believe me, the same reaction would have come forth. And we need to stop this. We need to stop this effectively and efficiently by holding these people accountable. And here is a very good example of somebody that needs to be held accountable, because words not only hurt on the ear, they also hurt emotionally, which I met the air hostess today, and she's still shocked for what she had to go through.
Yeah, and to talk to me about that, meeting that air hostess, what we know about her and what it is that she shared with you. I suppose also her perspective of what happened on that flight on Boxing Day.
Yeah, no, indeed. Look, obviously, she during the course of doing a sworn affidavit, there's a number of videos which is not even online or in the public or social media domain, which she shared with us. And, it even portrays a worse picture of what actually went on and what Ms. Mkhize ultimately did. But I think when I asked about what hurt the most, was it the words? Was it the implication of the words? Was it the generalization of what she said? And she said, I can accept that some people are hurt, but to generalize, and now you are a classist by projecting that I am poor, that's why I'm an air hostess, I didn't have matric, and she says, that's what really, truly hurt her. Given that she's 24, she went to university, she knows the better life her parents prepared for her. And here you have somebody who knows you from nowhere, attacking your race, attacking your perceived background according to this individual. I think that genuinely hurt her the most. And you could see it when she gave a recollection to the investigating officer who was taking down a statement, that this is an issue that I think she will deal with. She will go and we've opened the case. And while she was giving her statement, the police actually also now have added assault to the crimen injuria case, which the DA opened, or I opened on behalf of the DA. So this case is a lot worse than actually your viewers may be aware of.
You know, I want to say this as well, and this is obviously taking a step away from this discussion for a moment, and that is, for anyone who doesn't have a degree either, that at no point do they deserve to be denigrated because of it. But I do want to say this. If you look at this entire scenario as we wrap up the year, when we reflect on what it says about our country and how we view race relations, how we interact with each other across racial lines, black people speaking to colored people, speaking to white people, and I can go on and on and on. I mean, how do you characterize where we're at the end of 2024, the 30th year of our democracy?
No, that's a very good comment, because on the 16th of December, we celebrated the Day of Reconciliation in a year where we have seen a single party governing this country not doing so anymore. It's a government of national unity, meaning that your electorate wants us all to work together for a better South Africa. And yet there are still elements within our various communities, within the various racial demographics, who clearly still harbor some form of prejudice, some form of discrimination, and that does not belong in the South Africa which so many fought for, which so many died for while fighting that fight. And as a party in this province and at the national level, the DA believes, that we are all equal. We firmly believe in diversity and fairness of all. And all, doesn't matter what class you're under, where you come from. And for me, this is, I think, what needs to be taken into the bigger discussion, which will be happening in 2025, as the president also announced. But I think one also needs to understand there's still a lot of pain, but it's how do we move forward, given that the voters want unity. The electorate want a government for all that focuses on everybody. Yeah, and now this will all come into, I think, the bigger picture of 2025's discussion.
I imagine that you're talking about the dialogue that's set to the national dialogue that we're expecting in 2025. And the reason why I bring up, I suppose, how the Democratic Alliance views race relations in South Africa is, as a party that certainly is a member of now the Government of National Unity, no longer an opposition party, but very much a governing party at national level in other parts of the country as well. Important its stance on race. And I'm keen to hear from you what the Democratic Alliance reflects on 2024 on race relations, where the party in and of itself this year was caught between that tug of war around how to deal with the issue of Ronaldo Gous. I know that we did see, of course, the party going about in September terminating his membership. But reflecting back on race relations and the role of the Democratic Alliances taking a stance, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm blessed. I'm the leader of the Western Cape. I've been a councillor of the party. I'm now a member of the executive at provincial government level. And I can truly say that the perception which some parties sought to create about my party is totally wrong. We are a very diverse party in terms of membership. If you look at our party's support, even on the 29th of May, very diverse support. We are growing in areas as well where we believe there is more potential. And that does to tell you that once people focus on the ability to deliver for all, realizing that the party creates the opportunity and we will help you to create the opportunity for all, irrespective of your race, then our party truly is a reflection as a party of governance in the Western Cape. And now as part of the GNU, those values and principles obviously drive my colleagues on the national level as well. It's how do we ensure a better South Africa for all? We race, yes, we acknowledge it does exist, but it must not be the main criterion and telling your way of a better future, which is, I think, the big discussion one needs to have. You must have opportunity for all people, not some.
And you think the courts are also necessary in dealing with those that overstep the line?
I do believe we have a constitution which we all believe in. We all swear our allegiance to that constitution. And it was written for all South Africans, not just for some.
Yeah.
It speaks persistently of dignity of all South Africans.
You've also taken a position as to what you think her employer should be doing and how they should be dealing with it. I know that the African National Congress, because of course in that video she did allegedly say quite a few times that she is a member of she's an ANC person, and the ANC releasing a statement saying they're going to be investigating whether or not she is indeed a member, but they've also described her behavior as unruly and becoming. I mean, the big sort of institutions that are attached to this individual, what should they do?
Well, look, as a party, we believe in the rule of law, and the rule of law has processes and acts which enshrines how the employer must act. There's a fair process which must be followed. You must not just judge a person by the media itself, and respect to the media I'm talking to now.
Yeah.
In terms of a party, which the name she used in the video clip, again, each party has a constitution. Each party has a disciplinary process, which is outlined within their constitution. And the African National Congress, well, have indicated what they are doing, and they will then follow their own internal processes. It's not my place as a DA member to now try to express my views on another party's processes. They have their own processes, just like they have to respect our process with Ronaldo Gous, which we followed, and we did show with our action against Ronaldo Gous it will take a firm stand against any form of discrimination or prejudice.
Yeah,
according to our DA constitution.
Yeah, and then what about her employer?
Well, our employer needs to follow the Labour Relations Act. It outlines the disciplinary processes, obviously, when you sign a contract with the SABC. You know, you do bind yourself as an employee to the employers, the contract of employment. So hence, their processes must follow.
Yeah.
But because it's the SABC, I will be obviously engaging the National Minister of Communication, because it's an entity that reports to him about this matter as well.
Okay, and we'll be looking forward to getting that feedback as well. And just to reiterate that the African National Congress has said that it is going to initiate an investigation into her membership status